Chapter 356, Transfer of Authority. Tang Xiu was silent for a moment, before he slowly nodded and said, "Since the Bai family is our people, we can't sit idly by and do nothing. I'll go to Fukong to visit the Huang family personally. Wait for my news. I'll go with you." Tang Yunpeng quickly said, "Though I have no friendship with Huang Jinfu, I'm, after all, the governor of Shusu, so he would at least give me a little face." "Big uncle, how long have you been in Guangyang?" asked Tang Xiu. Tang Yunpeng was surprised for a moment as he said, "It's the third day today." "Big uncle, if you trust me, I think you should go back to Shusu. The Yao family only sent Yao Xinhua while our Tang family made you come here personally. Thus, I feel like we're thinking too highly of them. Since we and Yao Xinhua are the younger generations of our respective families, then let it be our contest." Tang Yunpeng's mouth opened, yet he swallowed back what he was about to say. "I'm not proud nor impudent, neither am I taking the enemy lightly." Tang Xiu confidently said, "The Yaos and the Tangs have yet to fully lose all decorum. I believe they also have some scruples since they opted to hit us in Guangyang and Fukong. Hence, let's think of these two provinces as a battlefield. If we fail, it shows that we do have some shortcomings. But if we win, on the one hand, we can crack down the Yao family, and on the other hand, we can also prove that the younger generation of our family are better than the Yaos." Frowning, Tang Yunpeng said, "Tang Xiu, I don't know how much you know about the top families in the country, but the manpower and businesses in Guangyang and Fukong are very important to our Tang family. Were we to be defeated here, the strength of our Tang family will be weakened to 1/5. "If the Yao is the defeated?" asked Tang Xiu. "If the Yao is defeated, their situation would about the same as ours. The Yao family is more powerful than our Tang family, hence, their actual strength is several times of ours," said Tang Yunpeng. "So, if the Yao is defeated, our Tang family can tie them up?" asked Tang Xiu. Tang Yunpeng contemplated for a while before saying, "Even if we can tie them up, there's not much difference, I think. As long as those figures with real power in the Yao family are not stupid, they wouldn't act against us again temporarily. What our Tang family really needs the most now is time. If we can have some more time, our strength will drastically increase." "Big uncle, you appear to be very confident." "Why?" asked Tang Xiu as he knitted his brows. "It not stem from my self-confidence. It's because of our old head sickness. The reason as to why the Yao family moved on our Tang family now was like casting stone to clear the road to probe us. When father's sickness was cured by you, only a few people learned about it. Hence, outsiders are clueless about the old man's recovery. A few days ago, father personally ordered the core members of our family to start a development plan for the next 5 years. Once the plan succeeds, the strength of our Tang family will go back to the top, and will be in the top 3 families of the country." "How do we start the development?" asked Tang Xiu, surprised. A smile outlined on Tang Yunpeng's mouth as he said, "By pouring the money we've accumulated for the past decades into the plan." Startled inwardly, Tang Xiu contemplated for a while as he slowly said, "Let's first not speak about the family development for now. Just leave the battle for Guangyang and Fukong to me. I can't guarantee a steady victory, but if we were to defeat them, I have the confidence to make the entire manpower of the Yao family in these 2 provinces to completely disappear." Tang Yunpeng stared blankly. "Completely disappear? If all of the Yao family's manpower here were to disappear, isn't it tantamount to having them as mutually defeated and wounded as the Tang family?" As Tang Yunpeng thought quietly, all sort of thoughts were churning in his mind. After a long while, he then slowly said, "Go out first. I'll give you the answer after dinner." "All right." Tang Xiu got up. He knew that Tang Yunpeng wanted to report to his grandfather, Tanguishing for instruction, thus he didn't give him the answer now. However, Tang Xiu was confident that the old head of the Tang family would agree. After all, he had revealed a lot of the cards in his hand already. Quickly, Tang Xiu, Tang Wei, and Shuijia went to the first floor. With a curious face, Tang Wei finally found the opportunity to ask, "Brother, you said that the Huang family's head owes your subordinate a big favor. Is your subordinate a great figure or something?" Shuijia also perked up her ears. "I told you that I don't know about it, no? Just wait until the time is ripe, then I'll explain it to you." Tang Xiu laughed. A tinge of disappointed on his face, Tang Wei didn't give up and asked, "But you can say what he does, right? Someone who's able to make the Huang family's head owe them a favor should be someone remarkable. Could it be Kong Xia?" "It's not her." Tang Xiu shook his head and said, "Rather, it's the one managing the restaurant business." "Restaurant business?" Tang Wei didn't believe Tang Xiu's words. But since Tang Xiu really didn't want to tell him, he had to hold down the question in his heart. Beijing, Tang family's ancestral house. Tang Guisheng was enjoying the cool air outside. Beside him were Tang Yunda and Tang Min. "Yunda, we won't stop Xiu from going to Guangyang since he wants to do so. Besides, it's a good thing for the young to have experience. I believe you also have seen his actions before. He's skillful and fierce. After having gone through this family's battle, it will make him mature faster." Tang Guisheng smilingly said while holding a teacup. "That kid seems to be like me," Tang Yunda nodded and smilingly said, "If he decides to go he will. He can set up an enterprise by relying on himself and his own hard work. Evidently, he has the brains for that. He hopes he can give us a little hand in Guangyang province. I'm asking him to help out, though." Tang Guisheng laughed, "As long as he doesn't come across any danger, it's fine with me. As our Tang family is battling with the Yao family, he can stay in the back to see and smell the bloody battles. That in itself will let him know the cruel and brutal game between the big families. Well, I think Tang Xiu isn't bad already." Tang Min laughed and said, "I've sent someone to buy a real estate in Shanghai for him. He stayed there for 2 nights, but I got the news that he didn't drive those 4 luxury cars to his campus. He didn't act arrogantly like those arrogant silk pants young masters in campus. On the contrary, he played very low-key, and got along well with his new classmates." "You sent someone to investigate him?" asked Tang Guisheng with knitted brows. "It was not to investigate him, but to protect him in secret. However, when I sent someone to Shanghai, he and Tang Wei went to Guangyang province. The news I got was sent by the man I sent through the investigation, and I slowly learned about it from him," said Tang Min. Tang Guisheng nodded silently. Ring, ring, ring. At this moment, a mobile phone's ringtone rang. Tang Guisheng's brows raised. He took out his mobile, looked at the screen and directly pressed the answer button. He then said in a deep voice, "What's up? Have you rescued the man?"
"Yeah."
"He's been rescued, father. Also, we won big." "Tell me." Well, this rescue operation was, in fact, under Tang Xiu. As Tang Guisheng quietly listened to this son, Tang Yunping's report, the more he listened, the more intense the astonishment on his face grew. In the end, his astonished expression became a shocked one. "Agree." After hearing Tang Yunping's report, Tang Guisheng replied resolutely. "In that case, I'll go back to Shusu province. Then Tang Xiu will be taking full authority here," said Tang Yunpeng. "Okay." Tang Guisheng replied and hung up the phone. Yet, the shocked expression on his face didn't fade away for a very long time. Tang Min and Tang Yunda glanced at each other as she immediately inquired, "Father, what happened? Has the deputy director of the Starlight Group been rescued? What did eldest brother tell you?" Tang Guisheng's facial expression slowly changed, as a smile climbed up on his face. He then extended his hand and heavily patted Tang Yunda's shoulder, earnestly saying, "Yunda, you gave life to a good son, and you have given me a good grandson." Puzzled and confused, Tang Yunda asked, "What did Xiu do, father? What happened?" Tang Guisheng laughed loudly and then said, "The Yao family have been suppressing our Tang family in Guangyang so much that we were unable to gain ground there, nearly abandoning it completely. I've never thought that Xiao, who just arrived there, would be able to achieve a great accomplishment within just one night." Quickly, he told the matter in Guangyang province and finally sighed, "Were it only these matters, I absolutely wouldn't agree nor allow Yunpeng to leave. But, the cards in Xiao's hand, I'm afraid it's much powerful than we had thought." With a shocked as well as ecstatic expression, Tang Min quickly asked after hearing her father's last sentence, "Father, what kind of card does Tang Xiao have in hand?" "Do you know about Fukong's Huang family?" asked Tang Guisheng. "I know. They are one of the big families in Fukong province." Tang Min nodded and said, "They are independent and neutral, rarely involved in family battles. Additionally, the old head of the Huang family is also still alive. It seems he's 106 years old now. He's also a hero who has rendered a meritorious service for the country in the past."
Yeah.
"I used to be a member of the Huang family when I was in the army. His name is Huang Jinming." Tang Yunda also nodded. "This Huang Jinming you know of is also a great figure with high rank now. He could shake the entirety of Fukong province were he to stamp his feet." Tang Guisheng exclaimed. "Father, listening to your words, it seems like there's a bit of relationship between Xiao and the Huang family?" asked Tang Yunda. Tang Guisheng laughed, "It's much more than simply related. Rather, they have a deep relationship. Xiao told your eldest brother that the Huang family's head owes a favor to Xiao's subordinate. Think, what kind of identity does the Huang family's head have? Yet, he unexpectedly owes Xiao's subordinate a favor. I'm now getting more and more curious about the cards in Xiao's hand." Tang Yunda and Tang Min stared blankly for a moment after hearing it, as a pleasantly surprised expression was immediately written on their faces. The Huang family was very powerful. Though they were not on par with their Tang family, if the Huang family were to help the Tang family in the fight against the Yao family in Guangyang and Fukong provinces, their odds of victory would be greatly increased. "Xiao wants your eldest brother to leave. He wants to take the authority of the battle between the Tangs and the Yaos. And I have agreed." Tang Guisheng laughed. "Father, this is no trifling matter." Tang Yunda promptly said, "Xiao is still young. Can't you consider it more carefully?" "No need." Tang Guisheng laughed and said, "The Yao family didn't send their core members. They only sent that kid, Yao Xinhua. Since Xiao is confident, then let him do it. Even if we were to lose the battle over there, I'll accept it as long as it can make him grow up quickly." Chapter 357, Restless and Flustered. Guan City, Red Maple Villa Complex. As flavorful meals were put on the dining table, Tang Yunpeng came down from the second floor with a faint smile on his face. Shui Jia helped him sit on the chair as Tang Yunpeng then waved his hand, motioning everyone to sit down. "A sumptuous meal. It's just as well since I have a good appetite today. Anyways, you want to drink with me," said Tang Yunpeng smilingly. "Do you have good wine, big uncle?" Tang Wei's eyes shone as he replied with a smile. "Any liquor is good for me right now," said Tang Yunpeng smilingly. From his words, they could tell that he was in a good mood, causing them to immediately smile. Tang Wei ran to the kitchen and ordered the maid to bring 2 bottles of wine. While looking at Tang Xiao, Tang Yunpeng smiled and said, "Father has agreed to give you the sole authority to handle the matter in Guangyang. Hence, I'll go back to Xiusu province tonight and give the matters here to you. Rest assured." Tang Xiao said with a nod. "Tang Xiao, to be frank, it would have been better if we could have found you earlier." Tang Yunpeng sighed. "It's not too late now, no?" Tang Xiao gave a pale smile.
Yeah.
"It's not too late now. Anyhow, when will you be going to Fukong?" said Tang Yunpeng with a smile. "Early in the morning. I will have to analyze our strength in Guangyang and Fukong first. That's right, since the Bai family's head, Bai Yang, is being detained, who's in charge in the Bai family now? His younger brother, Bai Tao, said Tang Yunpeng. Tang Shou nodded. After dinner, Tang Yunpeng left with 6 Tang family's trained bodyguards, leaving only Tang Xiu, Tang Wei, Shui Jia and Li Xiaojie. Auntie Shui, tell me all the forces belonging to us in Guangyang and Fukong. Only by knowing our strength will I be able to make good arrangements for the next step of the plan, said Tang Xiu. Aside from Starlight Group, we are also in control of several small companies, several projects in apparel business, and an advertising company. However, the apparel business's manager, Li Yuanqing, has passed away in a car accident 5 days ago. It should be a setup from the Yao family. The one managing the advertising company, Wei Yuan, has also encountered attacks. He survived. However, he has to be hospitalized. As for the Fukong province, our Tang family has secretly established a security company there. It's called Jinchen Security Company. The scale is small, but all the security guards there were all trained and nurtured by our Tang family. They number nearly 120 people. Li Liwei is in charge over there. We also have hardware and real estate businesses in Fukong. They are managed by another person on the surface. But it's actually controlled by Li Liwei in the shadows. Along with Shui Jie's explanation, Tang Shou finally had a clear understanding of the Tang family's strength in Guangyang and Fukong. Aside from Starlight Group, the rest of Tang family's businesses were small ones. However, in the military force aspect, the Jinchen Security Company was actually a very good one. Additionally, Tang Yunpeng also left more than 40 people in the villa. Half of them were transferred from Jinchen Security Company, while the other half were responsible for the safety of the Starlight Group's members. Auntie Shui, come with me to the Bai family. At present, their hearts should be restless and shaken, so we need to appease them, said Tang Shou. But, your big uncle, he has already, said Shui Jia. Raising his hand to interrupt her, Tang Shou seriously said, Auntie Shui, big uncle is big uncle, while I am me. Since the authority for Guangyang and Fukong has been transferred to me, I must take a stand toward the Bai family. That is, to win their hearts. Startled inwardly, Shui Jia nodded silently. At the moment, she was getting more and more curious about Tang Shou. She now realized that the young man before her not only possessed a fierce military force, but was also very intelligent. Tang Shou then looked to Tang Wei and said, Brother, you stay here. Take a break early, but do pay attention to your safety. Command our men to keep their vigilance. The Yao family has just suffered a big loss today, perhaps this will drive them to take desperate actions. They might take advantage of the darkness in the night to retaliate. Don't worry. Tang Wei nodded and said, I'll arrange things here properly. But you have to take more people since you'll go to the Bai family. No, Tang Shou shook his head and said, if my guess is correct, the Yao family's men are definitely monitoring this Red Maple Villa complex. If we leave here in such a conspicuous manner, they will know about it. Auntie Shui and I will leave this place in order to appease the Bai family. On the other hand, we'll also find more covert and safer places for tonight. After which, we'll leave. I understand, said Tang Wei with a nod. Immediately after, Tang Shou and Shui Jie left, taking only 2 of Shui Jie's trusted bodyguards. They turned around and secretly left through a secluded wall of the villa, catching a taxi on a nearby street and then quickly leaving. Guan City, Bai family's residence. With a gloomy expression, Bai Tao and several core members of the family were inside their family's residence. Bai Yang was being detained. They didn't have much hope, although the man had yet to go to trial. Originally, they would have been assisted by the Tang family in such an accident. But now, the Tang family was unable to protect themselves in Guangyang province, hence, they had no spare time to pay attention to their Bai family. Second elder brother, we have to think of a way. Eldest brother is being interrogated now. Let alone trivial problems, even if there isn't any, the Yao and Sun families will direct the problems to us. We can't rely on the Tang family now, but we have to find ways to help eldest brother. Bai Bing furrowed his brows deeply and spoke with an impatient tone. Wait for a while more. Bai Tao shook his head and said, the investigation team still wants to investigate the results. They just partly completed it. Besides, we have yet to receive any notification as of now, so we still have time. I'll go see Tang Yunpeng tomorrow night. If the Tang family has any solutions, we'll see them. But if they are also at a loss and unable to do anything, we will begin transferring our assets and moving our family members. But second elder brother, are you going to give up all the Bai family's industries? Bai Bing was shocked. Forcing out a smile, Bai Tao replied, if eldest brother is really going to trial, do you think we won't give them up? You're also a government official, you should also be very clear that, if our eldest brother were to be on trial, what kind of fate would our Bai family have? At least 5 or 6 people of our Bai family members might be put on the investigation list, to be removed from their positions, or, to be demoted to insignificant posts and rot there until retirement. Bai Bing fell into silence, as did several core members of the Bai family. They too realized that Bai Tao's argument made sense. It was a common happening in China. If the highest-ranked person in their family was brought down, perhaps the other members of the Bai family would suffer the same fate. Suddenly, one of the Bai family members said, second elder brother, what if we switch our allegiance to the Yao family? Eldest brother, he's... Shut up. A burst of anger shot from Bai Tao's eyes as he growled deeply, don't even say that. We have no chance of taking refuge under the Yao family. Even if there is, we can never do that. Betrayal is the most taboo for all big families in China. We and the Tang family are tied in one rope. Unless the Tang family is destroyed, our Bai family won't collapse as well. Furthermore, even if we do switch sides, do you think they will treat us well? The Yaos will attempt every means to drink our blood, eat our flesh and swallow up our Bai family cleanly. The facial expression of that member of the Bai family was disastrous as he eventually lowered his head, ashamed. At this time, a strong big man strode from the outside as he said in a deep tone, Brother Tao, there are 4 people outside, one of whom is Shui Jia, the Starlight Group's general manager, while the other one is said to be one of the Tang family's member, Tang Xiu. Bai Tao's expression changed. He immediately got up and said, follow me to greet them. Quickly, Bao Tao and several members of the Bai family greeted Tang Xiu and Shui Jia. However, they didn't know Tang Xiu and were somewhat curious about him. Hello, Chief Shui. Bai Tao greeted. Shui Jia smiled faintly and said, Bai Tao, let me introduce you to Tang Xiu, the son of the Tang family's Tang Yunda. According to the old master's order, elder brother Yunpeng has transferred the sole authority of the matters in Guangyang and Fukong provinces to him. Bai Tao's expression changed. He didn't know anything about Tang Xiu's identity before. However, it was rather unexpected that the old master of the Tang family would assign a young man to deal with such a big matters. Could it be, the Tang family is going to abandon these 2 provinces? Tang Xiu extended his hand and said, hello, I'm Tang Xiu. While worried and heavy-hearted, Bai Tao stretched out his hand, squeezed out a smile and said, how do you do, Mr. Tang? I'm the second son of the Bai family, Bai Tao. Tang Xiu nodded slowly. He could guess Bai Tao's thoughts by looking at his expression, saying, you seem to be at the same age as my father. So I'll call you second Uncle Bai if you don't mind. Bai Tao stared blankly for a moment, feeling a bit comfortable afterward. The smile he squeezed out turned brighter as he nodded and said, Tang Xiu, good nephew, you came late at night. May I ask what is your purpose in coming here? Shall we have a talk, said Tang Xiu with a smile. Bai Tao suddenly realized and promptly said, my bad. Everyone, please come. Let's talk inside. Immediately, Bai Tao led Tang Xiu's group into the house. After taking a seat in the living hall of the first floor, Bai Tao quickly ordered the others to serve tea. Second Uncle Bai, please, there's no need for so much trouble. The reason we came to the Bai family is because I have something to tell you. Besides, we must leave right after. What? Asked Bai Tao. I know that the Bai family should be feeling anxious and restless now. But I must tell you that it isn't necessarily so. The Tang family won't give up the Guangyang province, neither will we abandon the Bai family's head. Since my grandfather has delegated the full authority of the issues in Guangyang and Fukong provinces to me, I will take care of it. Furthermore, you have yet to learn about some matters. The deputy director of Starlight Group's finance department had been seized by the Yao and Sun families today. I just arrived here today, but not only did I rescue him, I also got rid of more than 30 of their lackeys. Similarly, I want you to give me some more time since I will also rescue the head of your Bai family. What? Several members of the Bai family members had a change in their complexions. They knew perfectly well how the Tang family had been forced to retreat in defeat repeatedly in Guangyang province. They had even lost more than 20 people altogether, including people from their Bai family. But the thing they didn't expect was that Tang Xiu, that had just arrived today, had gotten rid of 30 people from the Yao and Sun families. Wasn't this way too amazing? Chapter 358, Layout. Hope. Through Tang Xiu's words, several core members of the Bai family suddenly saw hope. This made their previous restless mood calm down. Second Uncle Bai, please give me some time, I'll use my network to save the Bai family's head. Were our Tang family to fail in the dispute with the Yao family in Guangyang province, I assure you that we will never abandon the Bai family's head and will prevent him from being imprisoned at all costs. This is the least I can guarantee you, said Tang Xiu. Upon hearing Tang Xiu's words, Bai Tao's heart was touched. It was, in fact, what he wanted to hear from Tang Yunpeng. However, the latter didn't give any speak about anything the matter for a long time. Such a situation actually made him a bit resentful, but Tang Xiu's words made the resentment inside his heart to completely vanish. Tang Xiu, I'll remember your promise in my heart. I also want to say to you that my Bai family will never separate from the Tang family. Regardless of any plan you have later, you'll have unconditional support from us. Whether you want money or manpower, you'll have it. Bai Tao firmly said. Nodding in satisfaction, Tang Xiu then got up and said, we'll mutually hold to our own pledges as gentlemen. As of now, we temporarily won't be needing assistance from the Bai family. So what you have to do is to increase your vigilance as to prevent against moves by the Yao and Sun families. By the way, we can't stay here much longer. Wait for my good news. All right, I'll send you out. Bai Tao nodded. As they came out of the building, Tang Xiu suddenly said, Second Uncle Bai, I'd have to trouble you to get us a car. We covertly left Red Maple Villa complex for fear of being detected by the Yao and Sun families. Bai Tao waved his hand to Bai Bing. Immediately, Bai Bing went back inside. A minute later, she came back with a few car keys, handed it over to Tang Xiu and said with a smile, these are for the cars in the courtyard. Take whichever you like. Tang Xiu glanced at it and said, I'll take the Volkswagen Tiguan. It's not expensive and won't attract attention. About 2 minutes later, Tang Xiu, Shui Jia, and the 2 bodyguards left quickly. On the car. With an astonished expression, Shui Jia asked, Tang Xiu, since we want to change our hiding place, why don't you ask for help from the Bai family? They have been here for so many years, I believe we can get many covert places that are suitable for us to hide from them. Letting out a pale smile, Tang Xiu replied, Auntie Shui, at this crucial time, it's best to let them know as little as possible, unless they are truly our own people. Who can guarantee that the Yao and the Sun families haven't bought someone from the Bai family's members? Shui Jia was stunned and froze. She looked at Tang Xiu in a different light now. Low-key and cautious. Originally, for Tang Xiu to take over the command in Guangyang province, She did have some confidence that he would defeat the Yao family. But this time, a hay of hope was raised inside her heart. Furthermore, through what Tang Xiu did tonight, especially in the Bai family, she could see that Tang Xiu's stratagem was very astute. At the very least, the Bai family's people who were previously restless had now been pacified and soothed. From the looks of it, Tang Xiu had even successfully bought their hearts. "So, where are we going now?" asked Shuijia. "We'll look for a place in Guan City that is very chaotic. What I'm talking about is a place with tons of non-natives, where people come and go frequently. We will move with a lot of people from now on, so we must have a place suitable to conceal ourselves as to prevent any accidents." Shuijia was surprised, Tang Xiu, finding such a place. "Are you not afraid that news will be leaked with so many people mixed in?" "There's nothing to be afraid of," Tang Xiu said lightly. "Provided we're careful enough, I'm confident that we can conceal ourselves well. I'll think of a way." Despite knowing nothing of what Tang Xiu meant by "think of a way," Shuijia still chose to trust Tang Xiu. After all, what he did today had made her sincerely convinced. "We can go to Hongpa district." Shuijia's bodyguard on the driver's seat spoke. "Where's this Hongpa district?" asked Tang Xiu. Hongpa district is located in the southwest of Guan City. There are a lot of industrial parks, small projects, and small individual workshops there. Many migrants go there every year. The clothing factory under the Tang family is also there. Although continuous reforms and development were conducted over the place in the past few years, still, there are many shabby places. So it's a suitable place to hide many people," said Shuijia. Tang Xiu nodded. He then dialed the Huang family's head cell number. From him, he learned that the Huang also had an intelligence network in Hongpa district. After which, he asked the contact of the intelligence personnel from him. Guasen. He was the owner of an internet cafe in Yayang Street, Hongpa district. He had been on the internet cafe business here for more than 10 years and had a complex relationship with the local thugs. He also had another identity in this place, an intelligence personnel of the Huang family and also the person in charge. After the family's head personally phoned him, Guasin became quite excited. He secretly decided that he must cooperate with the other party well. Whatever requests the other party asked of him, he would try to meet it as far as possible. He quickly received a call from Tang Xiu and told him the address of his internet cafe. Jing Internet Cafe. With his two trusted confidants, Guasin was squatting in the corner of the street near the internet cafe, waiting for Tang Xiu and the others' arrival. Beside him, a calm-looking youth extinguished a cigarette, but as he looked up and asked, "Eldest brother, who's that man? To think that even he's worth the big boss personally issuing a command for us and sparing no effort to work with him?" Shaking his head, Guasin said, "I don't know. But since the big boss personally commanded it, then we must complete this task. Big boss has promised to give us a very handsome reward if we do a good job. Perhaps we will be transferred to a bigger stage as well." The facial expression of the youth changed as he firmly said, "I'm not that good in terms of intelligence compared to you, but I will be the first to act should he need someone." For a moment, Guasin was silent, before suddenly asking, "Changzi, where did boss send you 3 years ago? How come you became so strong after you came back?" "Eldest brother, don't ask." Xiao Chong shook his head and said, "I really can't say anything about it. Else, I'll be violating the big taboo of the family. Not to mention you, even I would be killed as well. That ancestor who taught the Huang family not only gave this instruction to the Huangs, but also to us. You should be very clear about this matter as well." Forcing a smile, Guasin replied, "Well, since you don't want to say, then I won't ask about it." Xiao Chong no longer spoke. But he reminisced about the inhuman torments of that year inside his mind. It was a devilish training which could claim lives. That place was a sacred ground to train powerhouses, but also the place where a group of devils lived. He was quite vexed inside. He wanted to go there for training again, but he was afraid that he couldn't bear it and would die in vain. Originally, if he hadn't secretly fallen in love with that suffocating, beautiful girl because of that one glance, as well as not wanting her to look down on him, he would have been unable to endure and would have died in that place. However, he knew the gap between himself and that girl's identity. He knew that they were people from different worlds. He was just akin to a toad while that girl was a white swan. No, she was not a white swan. She was a fairy maiden. Hong, hong. A car's horn sounded, abruptly dragging Xiao Chang from his reverie. As he looked up, he found his eldest brother and the others running toward a SUV on the roadside. Are you Guosen? As he got down from the car, Tang Xiu looked to Guosen and asked. Are you Mr. Tang? Replied Guosen promptly. Yes, it's me. Tang Xiu nodded and said, you should have received a call from Huang Jinfu, yes? Guosen's mouth twitched a few times. He didn't expect that Tang Xiu would dare to address his big boss by name. Nodding, he cautiously said, Big Boss has commanded us to help you to the best of our abilities. Whatever you need, we will try to meet it. I need to find a safe place since we'll have a lot of people coming. Hence, the place must be large enough, but it mustn't be easily found by outsiders. Said Tang Xiu. A surprised expression flashed from Guosen's eyes as he asked, Mr. Tang, would you mind telling me in advance how many people will be coming? At the most, perhaps 100. Or around 40 to 50 at the very least. Said Tang Xiu. Thinking for a moment, Guosen then said, I know a very covert place and it's also very suitable for your request. But what? Asked Tang Xiu. But it's quite messy and chaotic there. There are many migrant workers and some gangsters and thugs who also often especially appear there. Also, the boss in that place is the head of the gangsters. He's called Hei Long, he's very powerful and influential there. He also has some intelligence network. If we were to be found by his people, I'm afraid. I would have been more worried if that place had no head at all. Tang Xiu said smilingly, take me there to have a look. If it's good, I'll take it. Changzi, drive. Said Guosen promptly. Xiao Chang nodded and quickly ran. Squinting his eyes toward Xiao Chang's back, Tang Xiu asked, is he your man? He's quite skillful, isn't he? Staring blankly at Tang Xiu for a moment, Guosen then said with amazement, Mr. Tang, you're really amazing. Big Boss sent Changzi to me, and his skill is indeed extraordinary. Just 7 or 8 ordinary local ruffians or gangsters are not his match. What you're talking about is his strength. But what I meant is his skill in killing. He has seen blood and also possesses a vicious aura inside his heart. Said Tang Xiu. Guosen was dazed. He had never expected that this little brother of his who had followed him for nearly 2 years would be this strong. However, as he recalled that he was sent by the big boss, he felt relieved. Soon, a car stopped in front of the two men. Tang Xiu ordered one bodyguard to sit on Xiao Chang's car and let Guosen sit in the Tiguan SUV's front seat. With Xiao Chang as the guide, the two cars quickly drove toward an abandoned factory. What do you want here? An old man guarding the entrance ran out of the sentry box and shouted loudly. Getting off the car, Guosen then came before the old man. He took out a stack of 100 yuan paper money, stuffed it into his hand and said, Gramps, do you remember me? I'm the owner of the internet cafe. You once visited my internet cafe to bring your grandson back home. Chapter 359, Coercion Business. The old man guarding the abandoned factory suddenly realized something and said, I know you. What's your name again? Guosen. Nodding, the old man then grabbed the money and asked, Right. It's Guosenator, but what did you come here for? You're giving me so much money, what's this for? Gramps, we want to rent the factory. We'll start a business after renovating this place. You should be able to contact the owner, right? Can you call him now? If he agrees, we can pay him tonight as well. The old man hesitated for a moment while looking at the stack of money in his hand. He eventually nodded and said, "All right. Wait a minute, I'll give him a call." A few minutes later, the old man returned and cheerfully said, "I just made the call. The boss is immediately coming after hearing that you want to rent the factory. Anyhow, are you going to wait here? Or we'll have a look at it first, Gramps. You don't mind, do you? Anyways, only after we see the condition of the workshop will we be able to discuss about renting." "Good. I'll take you there," the old man said happily. The workshop was small in size, more or less the size of a regular soccer field. From the old gatekeeper, Tang Xiu knew that this factory produced home textiles in the past. Since the owner managed the factory poorly, it eventually led to heavy debt and bankruptcy. After wandering around for a while, the factory's owner then arrived. "Do you want to rent this factory?" The factory owner looked at Tang Xiu and the others as he asked curiously. "We've just seen the condition of the factory. It's not bad. But may I ask how much is the rent?" asked Tang Xiu. The factory owner asked in reply, "What business are you preparing to do?" "A clothing business," said Tang Xiu. The factory owner suddenly understood and then said with a smile, "The leasing would be at least 5 million for a year. My factory is quite large, and a year rent should be around 8 million. However, since I'm rather anxious to rent it, I'll ask 6 million a year. If you agree, let's sign the contract. But if you don't, I can't give you any more leverage." Tang Xiu put out a number of fingers and said, 5 million. "If you agree, I'll rent it. And if you don't, I'll go somewhere else. To be honest, I've seen some other abandoned factories before coming here." The factory owner startled. He furrowed his brows and hesitated for a moment before saying, 5.5 million. "I can't agree to less than this. If you don't want it, perhaps there will be someone else coming tomorrow." After a moment of silence, Tang Xiu then slowly said, 5.5 million is rather unacceptable, to be honest. But I'll agree to it if you can meet my 2 conditions." The factory owner quickly asked, "What conditions?" "Tell me." "The first condition is that we can't make a 100% decision before renting the factory," Tang Xiu said, "hence, I can give you a 500,000 deposit first. If by a month later we don't rent your factory, the deposit is yours. If we rent it, then we'll pay you another 5 million, and then we'll sign the contract." After contemplating for a moment and finding nothing bad, the factory owner then said, "I agree. But you have to pay me today." "No problem." Tang Xiu nodded and said, "I can transfer it to you online." "Then tell me the second condition," said the factory owner. "Well, to be honest, we come from the north." Tang Xiu forced a smile. "We've been staying in a hotel for more than a week, and the hygiene is rather bad. So we want to temporarily stay in the factory. With the deposit, this factory is temporarily rented to you," the factory owner smilingly said. "Anyhow, it's fine if you want to stay here. But the place is dirty and messy, so you need to clean it up." "No problem." Tang Xiu nodded. Immediately after, Tang Xiu transferred 500,000 yuan through online banking to the factory owner's account. The latter looked satisfied and then left. Tang Xiu then shifted his eyes to the old gatekeeper as he then smiled and said, "Gramps, can I ask how much is your monthly salary?" 2,500 yuan. Said the old man smilingly. "Gramps, I'll give you 10,000 yuan for you not stay here this month." Said Tang Xiu, "You two know that since we want to stay here and start business later, we must find some young and strong men as security guards." "I understand." The old man hesitated upon hearing it and said, managing a business is not easy, but that 10,000 yuan. Gramps, please don't refuse it. Tang Shou said smilingly, consider it as our compensation. If we do really rent the factory, I'll invite you back. All right then. The old man nodded his head. When Tang Shou took out his wallet, he then asked Shuijie some cash. After collecting 10,000 yuan, he then gave it to the old man and sent him off. Guosen, who followed alongside him, whispered, Mr. Tang, isn't it too much money for a month's rent? Actually, I have a few ways to give some benefits to the factory owner, so that he will lend the site to us for some time. I suppose you were talking about the place we saw on the way here, right? Anyhow, that place is really good and there are several large factories around. Coupled with tons of people shuttling on the street, this makes this place a good place. Then, what shall we do next? What do you need me to do? Asked Guosen after hearing it. Take me to see Hei Long, said Tang Shou. Why do you want to see him? Guosen was surprised and said, that guy is a bad news. Deceitful, domineering, greedy. It will be quite troublesome coming in contact with him. Troublesome? Tang Shou grinned, I wouldn't see him if he was a good man. Anyways, let's go. You should know where he is, yes? Hei Long usually stays in his bar at night. I'll take you there, said Guosen. Black Dragon Bar. When the two cars parked on the street nearby the bar, Tang Shou said, Auntie Shui, stay here and wait for me. I gotta solve this hidden danger so we can station our men in this place. You're going to? Shui Jia was startled. No. I won't kill him. Tang Shou shook his head and said, I want him to work for me. Is his background and identity clean? Shui Jia hesitated. Tang Shou turned his gaze to Guosen. Hei Long is like a fish in the water in this chaotic place. Guosen promptly said, it's because he can stake it all to play hard and has been exploiting it over 20 years to elevate himself. He's kind of the undisputed gang leader here. Tang Shou nodded upon hearing it. Accompanied by Guosen and Xiao Chang, he got off the car and walked toward Black Dragon Bar, the other person brought by Guosen staying in the car. The Black Dragon Bar was quite lively at night, with deafening metal music that faintly hurt one's eardrums. Aside from a numerous crowd dancing crazily from side to side in the bar, there were also many people in the seats huddling with girls. Well, isn't it Brother Gua? What wind blew you here today? A young man with earrings and yellow-dyed hair giddily greeted them. Take me to Hei Long, said Guosen loudly, I want to talk about some business with him. The youth was startled for a moment, as he then looked at Tang Shou and Xiao Chang. He then waved his arms and shouted, come with me. Brother Long is playing inside. Inside the bar were more than 10 boxes. In one of the largest boxes, Hei Long was hugging a pretty girl he just hooked up with, holding a microphone and singing. The pretty girl picked up pieces of fruit once in a while and stuffed it into Hei Long's mouth. On the other sofa, his two right-hand men were also embracing a woman each and drinking wine. Big Brother Long, Guosen wants to see you. He said he wants to talk about some business. The yellow-haired youth pushed the door open and came in as he approached Hei Long and spoke to his ear. Hei Long was stunned and asked in wonder, Guosen, who the heck is he? He's the owner of Jing Internet Cafe, Big Brother Long, said the yellow-haired youth. Hei Long frowned as a trace of dread flashed from his eyes. He had a dealing with Guosen more than a year ago when his underlings demanded protection money from Jing Internet Cafe. The result was that Guosen's little brother acted and beat them up. Later on, he and Guosen met in private and had a fight. He took dozens of his brothers, yet Guosen and his little brother beat them up miserably. Were it not because he finally put out his gun, Guosen would perhaps not lower his head. After that incident, however, Guosen took out a sum of money and they solved the ridge between them. But they didn't interfere with each other from thenceforth. Hei Long patted the pretty girl and spoke loudly, "Go out and play. I'll look for you after I'm done with business." "Okay." The three girls stood and walked outside. Shortly after, Tang Xiu, Guisen and Xiao Chang entered the box. They saw a man sitting on the sofa with one leg atop the other, a cigarette on his mouth and a body full of black dragon tattoos. Tang Xiu then said with a pale smile, "You're Hei Long?" After glancing at Tang Xiu, Hei Long's eyes then fell on Guisen, dully saying, "Guisen, is this your little brother? Does he not understand the custom or something?" Guisen stepped back and stood behind Tang Xiu, keeping silent. Hei Long stared blankly for a moment upon seeing that. He looked at Guisen and sized up Tang Xiu as he nodded and said, "I got it. It turns out that you're the master. So, brother, what's your distinguished name? Are you also one of the mobsters?" Tang Xiu waved to the other two big men on the sofa. After receiving a hint from Hei Long to stand up, Tang Xiu walked to the sofa in front and sat down. He then took out a cigarette and lit it up. After having a puff, he said, "I'm Tang Xiu. You don't need to bother whether I'm a hoodlum or not. I got a business deal for you. If you're interested, everybody's happy. If not, I'll leave immediately." Hei Long squinted his eyes and asked, "What business deal?" Chapter 360, one more time. The deal is about your life. You join me and you live. Tang Xiu said, "Refuse and you'll die a tragic death. Then I'll prop up another man as the boss of this place." Pfft. Hei Long couldn't help chuckling as he stared at Tang Xiu as if looking at an idiot. He had heard many jokes before, but none of them was funnier this one. "Tell me, little brother, are you fucking stupid? This Hei Long has been here for a long time and I always get whatever I want. This place is nice and cozy. Moreover, I'm a local tyrant. Why the hell should I join you? And how old are you, anyway? So, you don't want to?" Tang Xiu narrowed his eyes. The smile on Hei Long's face quickly vanished. A cold light shined in his eyes as he growled, "Get the hell out and go back to where you spawned. This big daddy is in a good mood today. I won't bicker with you." Pointing to the two men around Hei Long, Tang Xiu indifferently asked, "Are those two your men?" "Yes," replied Hei Long with a cold expression. Tang Xiu nodded his head as a Mitsubishi Army knife appeared in his hand in an instant. His figure flashed as a dazzling cold light flashed. The two big men's bodies turned stiff as they quickly grabbed their own throats. Blood splashed out. Their eyes glared wide along with disbelief within. They could feel their life rapidly draining away. Standing beside Guisen, Xiao Chang's body slightly quivered as his pupils instantly flashed. Tang Xiu's speed made all the fine hair all over his body to stand. Too fast. Way too fast. The time Tang Xiu spent since his bottom left the sofa, dashed to strike Hei Long's two men in front, and then returned to the sofa again, was no more than 2 seconds. This speed was simply frightening. Xiao Chang could say that his speed was pretty fast. But he was horrified to find out that his speed was like day and night compared to Tang Xiu's. If Tang Xiu wanted to kill him, he was simply powerless to resist. Hei Long abruptly stood, his complexion drastically changing. He took out his pistol from his waist and aimed its muzzle at Tang Xiu. While glancing at the miserable appearances of his two men whose throats were sliced off, his heart convulsed violently several times as roared, "Who the fuck are you?" Deep fear was bred inside his heart. He couldn't see clearly any of Tang Xiu's actions. It was almost an instant's effort as Tang Xiu cut off the throats of his two men. With such a speed, if Tang Xiu wanted to kill him just now, he would have ended just like his two men. "Do you really think the gun in your hand is a threat to me?" Tang Xiu shook his head and said, "Put it down and join me. You have one last chance to submit to me. Be my underling and you may live." Perhaps you'll have good fortune in the future if you accept it. Refuse, and I don't mind sending you along with these two brothers of yours. Recalling the moment Tang Xiu acted just now, He Long was aghast and overwhelmed with shock. The terrifying speed of this young man before him would perhaps enable him to avoid bullets. In an instant, he watched the two men falling to the floor. 10 seconds after, they stopped breathing and died. You have yet to choose. Live or die, choose, said Tang Xiu indifferently. He Long's wrist shivered as he quietly stuffed the pistol back at his waist. With an indignant expression, he stared at Tang Xiu and growled lowly, "You killed my brothers. I may submit to you outwardly, but are you not afraid that I'll get revenge on you from behind? You can't and you won't." Tang Xiu shook his head and said, "Though you may be ruthless, yet you're afraid of death. Killing you is as easy as pinching an ant if I want to. Even my men can easily kill you without me lifting a hand. Of course, that also includes all of your brothers. One night is enough to make them see a bloodbath." While pointing at the Guosin duo, He Long asked in a deep tone, "You mean them? These two are not my people." Tang Xiu said dully, "Though the big boss behind them can also kill you easily. But since he's not a native here, he simply won't bother. The reason why I came to find you is due to a special reason. Else, let alone with your strength now, even if your forces get 100 times stronger, I wouldn't have even bothered looking at you." He Long's breathing came to halt as he contemplated for a moment before solemnly saying, "I must know your background, else I can't join you." Tang Xiu was silent for a while. After which, he slowly said, "In actuality, given your status and capacity, I'm afraid such a nobody like you wouldn't know me even if I told you. However, I can tell you a fact. You watch TV news like the first channel of China TV, yes? I couldn't care less about the state affairs." He Long shook his head and said, "Besides, what am I gonna see it for? I did see it when I was a child, though. I also saw it when I was small." Tang Xiu said, "Anyhow, I come from Beijing, and Tang Guosheng is my grandfather." Beijing? Tang Guosheng? His eyes suddenly staring wide, He Long's body swayed as he collapsed on the sofa, stunned. How could he not know about Tang Guosheng? The man was one of the bigwigs of the country, a grand figure. A tinge of a smile was revealed on Tang Xiu's face as he said, "Seems like you know the identity of my grandfather. Though I don't rely on him, it's rather useful to prove my background. So, how about it? Are you willing to join me?" "Yes." Jumping up from the sofa, it was as though he had forgotten that Tang Xiu had just killed two of his trusted men. With a face full of excitement, he said, "I'm very willing to join you." He realized that he had just hit big luck. A young master from Beijing. A figure that numerous people want to bootlick. Though he was clueless why would Tang Xiu, such a dignified scion of a respected big family, run to a small place such as Guan City, he wouldn't give up on such an opportunity. "You're not afraid I'm deceiving you?" said Tang Xiu smilingly. "I don't think you will," said He Long seriously. "After all, you want me to work for you, so you won't lie. Nonetheless, lying is very easy to be exposed. I can easily figure it out if I conduct a bit of investigation." "Well, looks like you're really smart," said Tang Xiu smilingly. "No wonder you can spring up in this place. Anyways, get some people to clean up these two and then come with me." "Where?" asked He Long. "Ask what you should ask, but don't ask what you don't need to ask," Tang Xiu said. "Shortly put, do bear in mind that you must execute anything I command you. If you do well, you'll have great progress in the future and you won't have to drown yourself as a local tyrant in this place. Perform mediocrely, and I'll directly abandon you." "I'll keep it in mind," said He Long with a vivid respect. 2 minutes afterward, He Long brought several of his trusted men and ordered them to secretly pack the two dead bodies and covertly destroy them. After finishing it, he then came before Tang Xiu respectfully. "Let's go," said Tang Xiu lightly. When this group of people left Black Dragon Bar, Tang Xiu looked at Guosen and said, I need to borrow your intelligence network for the time being to help me monitor Hongpa district. Report to me immediately if any suspicious people arrive. Mr. Tang, there are many suspicious people in this place. Guosen forced a smile and said, shouldn't we have a specific target? After being silent for a moment, Tang Xiu lightly said, look out for the Sun family's people of Guangyang. The Sun family? Guosen's eyes flashed. I'll need to report this matter to the big boss first. After all, my rank is very low and I don't have much knowledge about the Sun family in Guangyang. I need a member of a higher rank to coordinate with me. Report it then. I'll personally visit your big boss tomorrow, said Tang Xiu. All right. Guosen nodded. Leave your car to us. Additionally, get some men to clean up some rooms in the factory. Also, help me buying some daily necessities while convenient. Keep in mind that you must not attract any attention, said Tang Xiu. No problem, said Guosen with a smile. Tang Xiu waved toward Heilong, motioning for him to sit with the other bodyguards in another car. After which, he entered the SUV. At this time, Heilong's mood was quite complex. He was tensed up yet excited. He didn't know what destiny awaited him in the future, but still, he wanted to fight for it. If his choice were correct, he would have a bright future ahead, but if it was wrong, worst come to worst, he would die. After all, he would have become a corpse today if he had declined Tang Xiu's offer. Red Maple Villa Complex. As the two cars parked a kilometer away from the Red Maple Villa Complex, Tang Xiu and Xuejie had a discussion as to decide whether they'd withdraw to Hongpa district, taking advantage of the curtain of the night. Auntie Xue, wait for me here. I'll go inside. Okay. Tang Xiu jumped over the wall alone and quickly returned to the villa. At this time, Tang Wei hadn't rested yet. He was worrying about Tang Xiu's safety, so he sat before the window on the second floor, smoking. He was startled upon seeing a silhouette jumping over the wall into the courtyard, and dozens of men quickly pulled out their guns to aim at the figure. It's me, Tang Xiu called out in a sinking tone. After more than the dozens of big men could see Tang Xiu clearly, they immediately put their guns away and scattered to various sides. Everyone, pack up. We'll leave this place tonight, said Tang Xiu in a deep tone. Understood, replied several big men. Following that, Tang Xiu went to the first floor of the villa as Tang Wei rushed down the stairs. How was it, brother? Everything's done. I've visited the Bai family's people and also have found another hiding place for us to stay there for a while. Clean and tidy up, we'll be leaving shortly, said Tang Xiu. With you handling the matter, it makes me feel at ease. Tang Wei nodded. A smile outlined on the corner of Tang Xiu's mouth as he smilingly said, do you want to have another go? What's up? Asked Tang Wei, puzzled. While pointing toward the villa complex gate, Tang Xiu said, should my guess be correct, someone must be monitoring our villa. We left by jumping over the wall before, so they unable to find us. Since we'll move on a large scale, it won't do without cars. Hence, we need to clean up the enemies monitoring us. It's too difficult. Tang Wei shook his head and said, we are in the open, while those monitoring us are in the dark. Wanting to find them is very difficult.